Rachel, thank you. I had a couple songs to pick from, and that's one I wanted her to sing today. And it's perfect, and I think it goes right along with the Father within. To stand in light, and this is who I am. To be who we are. The Father within. The Father within. We all have heard that statement. The Father within. It's a Father within who doeth the works. Haven't we heard that a million times? 10 million times. It's a Father within who doeth the works. And Jesus is famous for saying that, but you know what he didn't say? It's the Father within me who doeth the works. He was so all-inclusive in reaching out to all the brothers and sisters on planet Earth. The Father within us all, the Father within all. The Lord's Prayer, our Father, not my Father, our Father. To begin to look at life from that perspective, it's the Father within who doeth the works. You know, we look at ourselves, we might say that and start thinking about what we're doing and maybe even rationalizing a little bit, but we could say it's the Father within who doeth the works. And sometimes we might feel good about that, and sometimes we might not feel so good when we judge ourselves as missing the mark. But I think the most important thing we can do is to stand forth in the light and be who we are. Because if we make a mistake or we fail, that's for one day. But if we succeed, it's for eternity. And just remember that. Yesterday's gone. When we succeed and lift into that light and be that radiant I am presence, that goes through eternity. That's one of the foundation stones that we can stand on in any world we find ourselves in. To begin to look at, and let's expand that, it's the Father within who doeth the works. And, we look at seeds, and we say within an acorn is an oak tree. The Father within, the consciousness within the seed, the consciousness within any seed, the God consciousness within any seed. It's a beautiful metaphor, it's a beautiful reality to look at life like that. And to not just go past a beautiful tree or some flowers or something, go, oh, wow, you're so beautiful. But take it to that next level and connect with God, that God essence, that God consciousness, expressing the uniqueness in each flower, because they're all different. In nature, the consciousness of God that's within the sun, the consciousness of God that's in the moon, the planets, the consciousness of God that's in our universe, the consciousness of God that is the multiverse, creation. God immanent, God transcendent, God one within, the Father within. Jesus said, when you see me, you see the Father. And he could say those words because he was standing in the light and allowing that God consciousness that he knew was within him. And when he said, it's the Father within that doeth the works, it was the Father within. It was the God consciousness that he allowed to flow through him, unfiltered. Unfiltered. Don't we often filter our energy? Don't we often put the shade over our light because it might offend someone? It might make us feel too good? To begin to stand forth and just be who I am, allowing that God consciousness because that's who we are. The Father within, the God consciousness that's within us is waiting to be expressed. And you know what? I love that song, but there's one word I'd take out because I don't think it's a risk. I don't think it's a risk to stand with God. to allow that God consciousness to flow through us, whatever we're doing. Whatever we're doing. Because when we connect with God, we're connecting with the allness. The wisdom of God, the love of God, the power of God. And to allow that to flow, to translate into our life, into our world. To truly, truly, truly say, God and I are one. It's the Father within who doeth the works. To begin to look at God consciousness flowing through all the experiences that we're having. To look at our experience and say, what is God showing me here? What do I need to see here? Because when we contact that God consciousness and access that energy, it allows us to see beyond our limitations. It lifts us above our misunderstandings. And it frees us from conditions. Accessing God consciousness, the Father within, and allowing that energy to move through us. And then the outworking of our life, the works of our life, are reflecting God consciousness, individually expressed through our soul. It's a beautiful opportunity that we have. And when we move into that Father within, that God consciousness, that truly allows us to experience oneness. See, if God's within us and God's within all creation, God's within our brothers and sisters, within nature, within the mineral kingdom, we can begin to understand and now participate in a more harmonious relationship with life. All of life. God's love is unconditional. And humans, sometimes we like to put conditions on love. But the teachings of Jesus is unconditional love. Unconditional love. So when we begin to say the Father within doeth the works, speaks the word, doeth the manifestation, to begin to not just, it's not enough to understand it in our mind. And this is where our journey begins. Now we got to take it out of our mind, because if we want to know God, the only way to know God is to experience. The experience of life gives us the opportunity to know God. Because haven't we all read books about God? We know all about God. Yeah. Don't we? Yes, we do. We know all about God. But do we know God? I don't know. Do you see? That's translation. So to begin now, to take this awareness of God and some definitions that we might hold about God, and then go into our heart, where the Father resides, see, the kingdom of heaven within, our Father within our hearts, to take any question that we have, any dream that we have, any person that we're in relationship. If we want to get a clear understanding of what we are to see, what we are to learn, what we are to know, what we are to be, and that experience, that's the Father within. Now we can begin to get a greater understanding. Understanding leads us to truth, and then the truth is what sets us free. Oh, wow. To begin to truly understand why someone acts the way they do. And for years we might get mad at them. Why are you doing that? Why are you acting that way? That's their pattern. It doesn't do any good to get mad at them. Have you ever got mad at anybody and they didn't change? Cindy gets mad at me all the time. Here I am. But I try to change. Try. Do or do not. And what this experience of life can do for us is bring us to a point of self-awareness, to be self-aware of the spiritual identity, the spiritual being I am. To begin to shift, see, our perspective of who we are and what life is all about. So we move from a human identity perspective to a spiritual identity in a spiritual perspective. God must be experienced to be known. So we take the qualities that we might attach to God, compassion and love and harmony and deep inner joy and peace, and allow these qualities to begin to flow into our world, to flow through our life, through our relationships, through our work, through all of life, and to begin to move there first, to have that thought coming from God consciousness, the kingdom consciousness, to think about anything. Shift the dial. Our words the same way. Allowing that unconditional nature of God to flow through our words so that they can be words of compassion and encouragement to lift people up, to free people. Most people have enough inner tapes going on that are condemning us and themselves, that a kind word, an encouraging word, is more powerful than we ever know. And it's for us to just be that channel of God's love, truth, understanding, compassion, peace. Allowing that to move into our world and allow that to move into the world is from Spirit. When we walk out of our home in the morning without the awareness of the Father within, we're walking into the world as human beings and out of the law of Spirit to uphold us. You see? Because we've identified with our human nature, we get to play in all the human laws and experiences and limitations and accidents and disease and death and all this stuff. Because that's what we identify with. That's what our truth is. We all know how important intention is. Intention's the key to the universe. Energy follows thought. So wherever we take our thoughts, that's where our energy's going. See, we're the chooser. So to begin to take our thoughts to God consciousness, to the Father within, first. So to begin to move into that self-awareness as the individual expression of God's love and light on the planet. And sometimes that sounds airy-fairy, and we have a hard time going there a lot because we've got reason and logic and rationality jamming our frequencies, trying to override the unconditional love, the infinite presence and power and wisdom and love of God. And that's where the experience comes in. We've got to have an experience of God's unlimited nature flowing through our experience, and we'll go, wow, that was great. Give ourselves a chance, give ourselves an opportunity to experience God's power, love, wisdom to flow through us. Just give ourselves a chance. Because the only limiting factor is us. We shut the door. We can open the door, close the door. We shut the door a lot. Race consciousness for thousands of years have been shutting the door. We live in a really powerful time where doors are being opened. Veils are being lifted. Love is getting intensified. Light bullets are streaming from the central sun, quickening, waking us up even more. So to now access that God consciousness, no matter what the world says, no matter what anyone says, listen to your heart. Listen to your guidance. What do you want to do? And this is the gift that we can give today in our relationships, in our conversation with people, is to give people that opportunity to see their potential, to unhook limitations that subconsciously they have binding them. Last week we had a young lady working on the church grounds here doing community service. I love community service because I get all this work done that I don't have time to do. Our front sign hanging up got washed. Wood chips got spread out. Weeds got cut. Ivy got taken off a tree. She works she'd come out here for 5 days. And the first thing I asked her, I said, it's outside? Okay. And then when she came, I said, are you strong? Yeah, I'm strong. Okay. So just working and just kept steady. That's all I would ask of anyone, because I'm not going to watch them. And so then whenever I work with anyone, I always have a time to talk with them, because I think God brings them here for a purpose and not just to fulfill community service. Because this is a spiritual center. This is a sacred place of transformation. So I talk with her, and she's studying forensic psychology. Great! So I can work with people to find out what's creating their problems. You see what I'm saying? I said, you came to the right place. That's what we do. It was so cool. She had a smile on her face, still in alignment with who she is. But, and then over the course of time, I just talked with her. And then the last day, she was finishing up. And so I walked out and I just talked with her. And I just tried to give her that, just a positive, optimistic talk on her owning her own unique expression of who she is. I could see she had honesty and integrity and a big heart by coming out and working every day. And I just wanted her to remember that and to take that into her field where she was going. Those qualities are so important with whatever we do. And it was just, and I said, and then one thing I did say, I said, and don't listen to anybody. I said, listen to your heart. Listen to your guidance, your inner guidance. Listen to the Father within. And you're going to be great. You're going to be great. So as we, try to unfold our spiritual awareness, it's not enough just to let go of habits and patterns and old identities. That's just the first step. The second step is to truly begin to accept. Accept what we didn't accept before. To finally accept that we are a spiritual being, that we are a son of God or daughter of God. To truly begin to accept that. Because once we begin to accept that, that opens the door. Now we can walk into life experiencing that. Experiencing life from a spiritual perspective. A powerful tool that we teach here and believe is meditation. Because when we take time to meditate, in meditation, what we do is we close the door to the worldly way. We close the door to the material world. We close the door to our human nature. And we open up the door to spirit. We open up the door to God, the Father within. We open up the door to our pure potential. That's the power of meditation. To just be still. See, be still and know. If we be still and know, we'll know what we're supposed to know. Not when someone else tells us we should know. To just be still and know. Father, I ask to know you. Oh, my soul, I long to know you. If we're here on a soul journey, wouldn't it behoove us to get to know our soul? And all we have to do is ask. That's not that hard, is it? Ask. And isn't the directive, ask and you shall receive? All that we seek or need is within our heart. Every question comes from our heart. Every dream springs from our heart. The Father knows your needs even before you ask. How's that? Oh, here's God sitting up there on this throne. Oh, here's Cindy. Let me look in her book. She needs this. I think I'll open this door for Cindy. The Father within. There's no separation between God and Cindy. There's no separation between God and you. Be still and know. Go within. Ask and listen. You will get exactly what you need at the perfect time. And that's what life affords us. Life is the perfect classroom that allows us to have the perfect experiences for our soul's unfoldment and our spiritual awakening. It's a beautiful gift, life. God is life. When we begin to access this divine wisdom and love and truth and compassion and purity, that's when we can be a channel of that for ourselves and for others. Here's what I believe. All healings are spiritual. I believe all healings are spiritual. Some people might not believe that, but that's what I believe. And to receive a spiritual healing takes spiritual living. And that's just being aware of the Father within. The God consciousness that's within us all. And so we create stuff in our life experiences, and there are teachers. And when we understand that, we can get understanding of that and be free from it. You see? It's spiritual transformation. The gift of life, the Father within, Jesus the Christ, standing forth in the light. This is who I am. How many times do you think Jesus got shut down or tried to shut him down? Do you see? You're crazy. You know what you're talking about. Get out of here. You're rocking the boat. No one's listening to you. This is who I am. Follow me. 2,000 years later, a bunch of people follow him. It's great. And all he taught was that it's the Father within. Love that aspect of God. And love the aspect of God that's within our brothers and sisters. That's within all of life. Because there's always something good to say about anything. We just have to turn the dial. Look for the good and praise it. Spiritual understanding is what frees us. It breaks the hypnotic spell that we live under. And a lot of times these words seem harsh. I'm not living under a hypnotic spell. We're all living under a hypnotic spell. And the first step is admitting that. And then, because we can free ourselves from it. And that's what the teachings of Jesus is all about. To free the hearts and minds and souls of man. To love all. Not just that love you. That's Father consciousness. That's why the analogy of Father God was so important at that time, to shift people to understand they were loved. Loved for who they are, for what they are, what they do. So in our journey, as we begin to move from our human identity to our spiritual identity, truth I am, And allow that to begin to manifest and be every day as a gift. To open up the door and walk out and claim, I am. I know the universe song, I am that I am. You see that? When you know who you are, you can sing the universe song. And you can be the universe song. You can be one with all of life. Let's go within. And as we close our eyes, just see a big old door closing. We're closing the door to planet Earth. And as you breathe in, just feel God's love filling you and moving into you. And I want you to just ride that stream of God's love right into your heart. And with each breath, just give yourself permission to move into your heart. The beautiful garden within your heart. And find yourself in that beautiful sacred space. And just feel the love, the unconditional love of this space. And just breathe and let go. Breathe and surrender to the transforming love of God. Breathe and feel your muscles letting go. Feel your whole body getting soft and relaxed. Just let go. And breathe. As you stand in your garden and you feel the peace and the love of this place, know that all that you would ever need or desire is within your heart. And in this place of peace and unconditional love, ask the Father within to reveal to you your next step. I ask to know my next step. And just breathe and be still. As you have asked, you will receive. So just breathe. Be still. And know. And now ask for God's strength, wisdom, and love to support you in taking this step. You're not alone. I am with you always. So just breathe and allow this God consciousness to permeate your whole being, to move through your sphere of consciousness. Be still and know. You are the beloved of our Heavenly Father. So just breathe and feel the lightness of your energy. Freed from the past. Ready to take your next step supporting your individual expression of God's love made manifest on planet Earth. Take a breath. Feel your consciousness back in your body, sitting in your chair. Gently wiggle your toes and fingers and gently open your eyes. Ask and you shall receive. Ask knowing that you are the beloved of our Heavenly Father. Be still and know I'm with you always. It's not our state of grace that separates us from God. It's our state of mind. As we align our mind with divine mind, watch out. Yea, God.